New day, new episode. Welcome to the fourth episode of Hartwig's Tech World. I'm Hartwig, and as always, by my side is my wonderful fiancée, Bianca.
Hi, everyone. I'm ready to bust some tech myths again. So, what have you got for us today, honey?
Today, honey, we're going to save people some money. We're talking about the great security myth, why expensive antivirus subscriptions are unnecessary for most private users.
Oh, that's a hot topic. My parents swear by their antivirus program and pay for it every year. Are you telling me that's all for nothing?
In most cases, yes. The industry doesn't like to hear it, of course. You know how it is. You get a new PC, and an ad for an antivirus subscription immediately pops up. And according to Bitkom, the German IT association, users pay almost 30 euros a year for that on average.
But why don't we need them anymore? Have our computers suddenly become secure on their own?
That's exactly it. Modern operating systems like Windows, Mac OS, and even Android and iOS come with really solid protection right out of the box. Apple has had its X-Protect technology for years, and the app stores from Apple and Google also act as a kind of gatekeeper.
And what about us Windows users? We've always been considered the main target.
Those days are over. Today, every Windows PC comes with Microsoft Defender pre-installed, and it's really good. In independent tests, it often performs just as well or even better than the paid competition.
But what are the paid programs even protecting you from then?
That's the key point. Traditional antivirus scanners look for known viruses. But here's the problem. If a virus is known, the security vulnerability it exploits is also known, and there's usually already a free system update for that. So if you keep your system updated, you're already safe from known viruses anyway.
Okay, that makes sense. So the biggest threat is new unknown viruses, those so-called zero-day exploits?
Exactly. That's the residual risk. But let's be honest, those exploits are extremely valuable. They aren't used on private computers, but for targeted attacks on companies or governments. The risk for you as a private individual is negligible. The antivirus software itself can even be a risk. It requires deep system access and can have its own security flaws.
So in the end, the biggest threat is me.
Bingo! Most attacks today, like ransomware, don't get in through a vulnerability, but because the user opens the door themselves. You click on a bad attachment, ignore warnings, and run the code. No antivirus scanner can protect you from that.
So let's quickly summarize what people should do instead.
4 golden rules. Leave the operating system security features turned on. Regularly install all updates, preferably automatically. Don't click on unknown email attachments or strange links. And, very important, this is for private users. If the admin at your company tells you to install something, there's a good reason for it.
Great, that's easy to understand and saves money. What's next?
From our PCs to global competition. Next topic. China is now only about 2 years behind the US in chip design.
Chips. You mean the processors in our devices. I thought the US was miles ahead in that area.
That was the thinking for a long time, but the strict US export restrictions, which were meant to slow China down, seem to be spurring them on instead. A White House technology advisor says China is catching up at a rapid pace.
How so?
Because they're no longer allowed to buy certain technology, they're forced to develop it all themselves, and they're getting extremely good at it. According to the advisor, Huawei is only about 1.5 to 2 years behind the US standard. Even in AI, where the gap used to be years, it's now only a matter of months.
So the sanctions have basically bred a strong new competitor in China?
That's the fear. The consensus from experts, like the CEO of NVIDIA, is that China is finding ways around the restrictions and will soon be exporting its own high-tech chips. This means U.S. companies lose a huge market and gain a tough new competitor.
It's a real dilemma. Pretty complicated.
Absolutely. This will shape the tech world for years to come. But now, from global hardware politics to some very down-to-earth software problems.
Let me guess. An update broke everything.
You know the drill. We're talking about Android 16 for Google's Pixel smartphones. It's out, but anyone who hasn't installed it yet should probably wait.
Oh dear, what's wrong?
There are some annoying bugs. Many users are reporting that the back gesture or the old 3-button navigation just stops responding. A restart only helps temporarily. Google is aware of it and a fix is coming, but it's a pain until then.
Are there more bugs?
Unfortunately, yes. Some report that waking the phone from standby can take over 5 seconds. A fix is promised for this as well. There are other minor issues like problems with bedtime mode or app crashes.
Sounds like it was shipped half-baked. So what should people do?
Google is asking everyone to diligently file bug reports. Other than that, the advice is, if you haven't updated yet, maybe wait a week or two and let Google iron out the initial kinks. And that's all we have for today. From antivirus scanners to the chip war to buggy phone updates.
Quite a ride through the digital world. I hope you all learned something, especially you, Mom, if you're listening. Cancel that subscription.
Exactly. We hope our podcast has fewer bugs than Android 16.
And if you liked it, you know the drill. Leave us a subscription, a positive review, and tell your friends.
Take care, stay safe, and don't click on anything suspicious. Until next time.